Okay, I'm recording. Right, so ask questions whenever. Basically, what I'm going to be discussing is time, past, present, future, and space. The words are a bit fancy, but basically how you can use time on the MetaNet, some of the methods, and space as well, how, the boundless space that you can create things. Creating a website. We're going to discuss creating a website. So say normally you'd create your trees. This would be the root, and it would go downwards here this way. But you would point your web page. Say this is page number 1. Your web page number 1 would point to page number 2. Obviously, as you'd get the transaction hash, and what you can do is when you put that page, you have to point like your MetaNet ID has to point like backwards. So basically, ignore that line, right? So you'd create page 1, you'd create page 2, and page 2 you can reference to page 1 because you already know what the transaction hash is. Once you put page 1 down, your first page, say it's your home page. Home page. And we're talking like a program like BitPaste, or there's going to be other programs which emerge which you can do web pages like in HTML or C++ or whatever else. I'm going by BitPaste at the moment because it's there and it exists right now, but there will be others. So you create your root and your home page, and say you want to create a few more pages on top of that. But you need them separate and you want them redirecting back and forth. So you then create your page 2. Your page 2 would be pointing backwards. And you'd have all your content on there, which would be, we discussed this briefly last time. Your content, which would be things like pictures, which make up the page, or music, which you have playing on the page. It would be, these things would be uploaded onto other transactions, but you'd be using them in the creation of your page. And that's how you make your page bigger, basically, because at the moment and even in the future, each transaction can be limited, and it helps to draw from other pages, from other things to make your page, to make it full. So say, for instance, we go on, we create page 3, and you'll be pointing backwards again, because again, your transaction hash of the previous page. You can actually point backwards up here as well. So your third page could redirect to your previous 2 pages because you know what the transaction hashes are, right? So your 4th page, you'd make your 4th page. The 4th page could redirect back to any of your previous pages, right? Because all these previous pages have been made. So you can point backwards. I'm going to redo this because it looks a bit messy there. And I'm slowly getting better at graphs. So I'm going to go over it again briefly and redo them. Very fast. First page, first root, sorry, which is your home page. You create the second. Your second, you know what the transaction hash is, so you can point backwards. Make your third. You're pointing backwards again because you know what your transaction hash is on your previous ones. You can point backwards to there as well. So this page could have a couple of redirects to your home page and to a content page, say. Now these other pages, remember, they can branch out and create their own like tree structures and be full of content. They could be like albums, photo albums and music albums and whatever else. Right, then you create your 4th. There's a point to this, I will be getting to it. You create your 4th page, which can reconnect to any of the previously made pages. Now, one thing you've been wanting to do, and I have discussed this briefly in the past, where's my orange? is making your home page connects up to your fourth page. And this way, you need to be able to connect back to there. So you've got a closed loop, basically. And most of the time you think, well, how can you connect page 1 to page 4 because you haven't done this transaction yet? You can't see into the future and, you know, predict what your transaction hash is and create a redirect. So normally your tree would just constantly go in one direction. But if you use a redirect and you use the old internet structure, you can make it a closed loop. So this is old internet. This is a domain. So this is a domain which you own and you are the only admin. We'll call this the meta domain. And what you do is you would connect from there, from your root homepage to the old internet to your meta domain. So that would be something like meta dot, well, whatever your page is called, meta page 1 / .org, whatever. Basically, so it would direct you back, and this from here, it would redirect to page 4. So you could do all your pages, you do page 1, 2, 3, and 4. Your redirects from here would actually point to your meta domain. And then after you've done your page 4, you go back to your old internet, your old domain, and you create a redirect which points to the transaction hash, the fourth one, the latest one which you've made. So from the user's perspective, they're going from 1 to 4 if they click from that to that. And this way, you created a closed loop. And you've got a closed website with like however many, you can extend these pages to as many pages as you want. 50 pages, 100 pages, as many as you want, really. Questions?
No, not at the moment, Joel. I guess I kind of feel like a sponge right now, just trying to absorb this.
Is this making sense?
No, it is. It is. It's making sense to me.
Okay, so we're going to go into time a little bit now, which I never got around to touching upon last time. Right, so say all of these web pages are created at, say today, all these web pages, and one thing I want to do sometimes is do some actual web page creation while we're doing discussions. Not today, but I'm going to plan that one ahead. Right, so these blue lines, this is time zone 1, I'm going to call this. Time zone 1. Down here, below this blue line, is time zone 2. Now, what this essentially means, all these data, say if you did these 4 pages in, say, a couple of hours, and in these couple of hours, it went in a couple of blocks, that was in one block, you know, maybe these 2 are the same block, it doesn't matter. These are all like in a set time period, you know, the last like end of the time zone would be the last page you did. So that would like be the end, you know, anything done after that date is new. If you can hear background noise, that's my dog. I apologize about that. But basically, if you're updating pages and such, you're redoing like pages 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is where like the old timestamps. Can you still see down here? That's where the whole time chain thing is beautiful and comes in. So you're updating pages, and so on. They're all connected. You've learned how to do your redirect to your page 4. Say someone comes along on the MetaNet. This is why it's important to update, and the old redirect helps. Say someone comes along, and you know how sometimes people come along to like old websites and such, and people are like, well, how are you going to update websites on the MetaNet and make sure people come to your newest version of the website or whatever you're doing? Well, this is how. Say if I come along and I come along to page 2 from some old redirect, some old link. I come along to page 2 and I'm like, brilliant. Okay, yeah, this is interesting, but it looks a bit outdated. And I'm moving around. What you should have done as the website creator, as you've made your newest set of pages and updated it all, the redirect, instead of pointing to here, now points all the way down to the newest, to time zone 2, to the new set of areas, dimensions, you could say, to the new time zone type of thing. And all of these are interconnected, right? All of these are interconnected, what you can call in time zone 2. So this is your new refreshed, redone page. What will happen as I move around, if I come along in my time zone 1 web page, as I move around, say to page 2 or 1 or whatever, eventually I'm going to hit the redirect. I'm going to hit that redirect. I'm going to try and go to page 4 from page 1, or you can actually put in more of these redirects wherever you want. And I'm going to hit one of these redirects, and it's going to push me to the new set of pages. As long as you've updated the redirect on the old domain, which only you as admin have control of that domain. So yeah, I will get pushed to the new time zone 2 websites, and then when I'm moving around here, these will all redirect to each other. And then I'll be like in time zone 2 area. And it will be very hard for someone to get back to the old version. You'll have to go all the way back to whatever redirect that was, or just keep tapping back. It would be awkward. But yeah, that's basically how you push someone to the newer version. You can create redirects. So say if they go onto your old pages, they'll be pushed to the next time zone type of thing. Another way is in a similar way, is like what Agora is doing. And eventually, I can't spell Agora. Like, they exist as a kind of root thing on the MetaNet, and I believe, as others will say as well, that Agora and other things will emerge, which will redirect to various tree structures that exist on the MetaNet. And if people go onto older versions of the website, and then going around an older version, like the previous page before, and if they get redirected, they should get bounced off Agora and go to the correct website. If Agora is keeping updating properly as well. There's no one else coming along really, is there? Are you engrossed? Are you entertained by? It's only us two, but I am recording it, so I'm gonna let the Slack see the rest of it, and hopefully it will make sense to them as well. Yeah, I want to go on a bit more about the time structure. When you go into the older and newer time zones, because just give me one. And like one of the things about coding, I don't know if every coder gets it, but I used to get it. I get it a little bit. Is forgetting your programming, your code. You do some lovely bit of coding, and then 3 years down the line, you're going up and you're doing something else for 5 years, and you're thinking, oh, where's the code? Oh, is it stored on here or there? One of the things about doing the coding on chain is that it never goes anywhere. It doesn't disappear, and as long as you got some kind of reference to it yourself, you're going to find it. It's not like your account is closed down or anything. Like, we're going to go ahead a bit to time zone 100. Like, say we've gone quite a bit ahead in the future, time zone 100, and people are properly using the timer aspects inherent within Bitcoin. There's different things we can do, like if we're really pre-planning websites and business services, we can do things like What was the other thing I was going to do? Right, so say like we've got a website constructed waiting for an input. Is that right? Oh, that's the wrong one. Right, so say we've got a website which might be waiting for a certain block height or end lock times you want to be looking at. A certain block height or a certain period of time, because Chronos works really well with counting time as well, and I believe people get better with that. So say time is saying 100, your website has been updated a lot. Historians are looking back, they're able to see the previous things, and also yourself, you won't lose any of your code. Right, one of the things you can do, so like with the gaming aspects, is I want to draw upon Link. The Legend of Zelda is a little bit of an example. It's an old one.
Nice.
Say you've got people playing a game and the time zone 101. 101. And you could actually have people playing the same game in time zone 100. So people in time zone 100 are moving around the different areas. And, maybe there's a little castle here or something, old design. I really cannot draw. But people are playing in time zone 100. Yet in time zone 101, maybe the castle's gone. Maybe there's an invasion that has happened. People are playing battles and such like that. In the current model of gaming, when you get updates and stuff, everyone has to play the updates. Everyone has to play the present time version. In the gaming model, which can exist, is that people can play the older versions of the game if they don't like playing the updated versions, or people can play the updated versions, depending on the type of game, because the game itself we're discussing the pushing people to the next time zone, you could make a game which pushes people to the latest version. So they basically have to play the latest version. Or you could just, not put that in your game, and you could allow people to play past old games, like how you would dig up a really old game and you might go back to time zone 2, in 10 years in the future and go, oh, let's play that ancient old game. Yet that will still pay the creators, because that money will still be rolling, and people will go back all that way, play the game, see what was happening, see what was made, and compare it to like time zone 101. So my main point about that is pre-planning, really pre-planning far into the future. Something like a game or business or structure where you have components which mix in with the previous stuff could be powerful. Like the gaming is one example where you could actually keep those previous time zones and previous versions open for gameplay. But I'm pretty sure people will come up with other reasons and other things to be able to use for. It's not that the past isn't gone with Bitcoin, it's still there. And if you can find a way to use it, and then it can be pretty powerful. Any questions?
No, that's a great quote, though. The past isn't gone with Bitcoin. Just got to figure out how to use it.
Yes, new models. Right, I'm going to stop recording.